So the wind is constantly changing direction, just like that. And if we don't know how to deal with it, then we will definitely lose races. So stick around for 4 basic rules on how to deal with oscillating shifts and how to predict them as well. Hi, welcome to 2Sail. My name is Kingsley and I've been a sailing coach for 50 years and I've got a bit of lack of hair to prove it. Oh, damn, another big wind shift there, and we've got to deal with that one as well. We call these changes in directions wind shifts. So let's just say that we were going upwind and we're doing the whole zigzaggy thing. I'm just going to pause here for a moment and drag up on the sailor's head so we can see what we're looking at. We're looking at this wind indicator at the top and see where it's pointing, and at the moment it's pointing, yeah, definitely to the right. There's our top mark up there and it's definitely pointing to the right. So we're in a right-hand wind shift at this moment. So if the wind shift is changing directions constantly, going backwards and forwards, we call it an oscillating shift. And we drag up on this sailor's head and we're looking there at, in fact, that's a good indicator there as the oscillating shift is coming through. We're looking at our wind indicator on the top of the mast, and it's bouncing backwards and forwards depending on which direction the wind is coming from and as it's coming through. I'm using here the 2Sail Sailing Simulator, downloaded as an app on iPhone and Android. So if the wind changes direction so that our sails start to flap, we would call it a knock. If the wind changes direction so that we're able to sail closer to where we want to go, we would call it a lift. And what we have here, we're actually using a time trial, which is an oscillating shift, and it's obviously going backwards and forwards between a lift and a knock as it turns from one direction to another. Keep an eye on this wind indicator at the top and also our telltales on our sail. Let's just have a bit closer look at our telltales. There it is, that's a massive knock, and I just did the wrong thing there. Let's look at those rules so that we know what we need to do. So the first rule is if we get a lift, take it. Just gently point up into the wind, and then if we get a violent, oh, there we go. Oh, that's much better. And then if we get a knock, simply tack. A big knock, just tack straight over. Wasn't going quite fast enough. We actually ended up sailing backwards there for a moment. Let's just go back and actually set up ready for this course. So this is our oscillating shift, and just click on it to go. Tap the I button and that will clear the screen of all the bits, and then we turn on auto and that will set our sail automatically, and click it again, and now we've just got our main sheet rolling. We're going to press go and then we are just simply steering it. I'll pause again here. Let's have a look at where our destination is. There it is up there. There's our top mark. That's where we're heading for. Let's keep rolling and see what happens. I think at the moment, actually, if I come down a bit closer, I can look at those telltales, the green telltales on the right side, on the starboard side, and the red one is on the port side, and I'm currently luffing a little bit, so we need to change directions there slightly. Oh, there it is. Let's go. Let's do a tack and head this direction. And then if we get a nice lift, we'll take it. And if we get a huge knock, then we will tack. Just steering, dragging backwards and forwards. There's a massive knock. Let's just take it and go the other direction. And you can see there's our top mark. We're still aiming for our top mark. Rule 1, nice lift, take it. Rule 2, big knock, let's tack. Rule 3, well, sometimes they're actually fake changes. Let's have a look at those for a moment.
So the easiest way to demonstrate a fake knock is to go into our training man, our little training button up here, and then just click on sailing. We're going to change our boat. Let's go for a yacht with a tiller because it's got a bit more momentum, and yep, that'll be fine. And then we go into cheats and scroll down in our cheats to find wind override. We'll close our cheats. We'll click the I because that just cleans everything up, makes it a whole lot easier to see. We do need to click the fake wind button, and all this is just changing the speed of the wind, and we've got the speed there currently at 13 knots, and down to something small. So let's just head off on about a close reach type stuff, and we'll take it out of auto mode for the mainsail. And then suddenly if we drop the wind speed, what you find is that the apparent wind goes all the way forward, the sails just flap, and that's because our boat speed is still moving, but our wind speed has completely gone, and that is a fake knock for you. Eventually the boat slows down to about the right speed and the wind direction is back into the right angle. Have a look at this. The opposite to that is that if we suddenly increase, and we're looking here, let's just zoom right in, we're looking at these wind indicators here. If we suddenly increase our wind, then the apparent wind is going to go backwards. So the apparent wind goes backwards when the wind is increasing, and when the wind is decreasing, then the apparent wind goes forward. And there it is, and it pretends that we're in the no-go zone. And as I said, if we zoom out a little bit, the sail will flap. Let's just try that again. Wind increases, apparent wind goes back, and then if the wind suddenly decreases, and this is very typical of a late afternoon twilight type race where you get these gusts coming in, the boat speeds up, and then the gust finishes and there's almost nothing on the other side of it, and the sails just flap. But it's not about trying to change course, it's not about trying to tack, it's just sail, keep going the direction you want to go, because the sails will, sooner or later, they will find their way to the new wind.
And rule 4 is keep an eye on where you're actually trying to go. Keep looking around and checking, where is our top mark? Am I actually going in the right direction? So there's a huge advantage if we can get the right lift off a start line. So let's have a look at how to predict it. So to predict a oscillating shift, one of the ways is to simply just increase your awareness of where the wind direction is coming from. So as we sail past this flag that's flying here, or a boat that's in the lying into the wind, then we start paying attention to where's our wind coming from. It's easier if you're up high and if you zoom around, because then that gives you a better indication. We're going to run into that boat in a minute if we don't turn. Let's do another turn. And again, if you look at our wind indicator on the top of the mast there, up there, then and we swing around, we find that it's coming from roughly up towards the bridge, actually. Let's just do a tack over and see what's going on there, and swing around. Yep, wind's coming from up in that direction. There's our wind indicator pointing upwind. And if we do that on a regular basis, then we start to get an appreciation for the direction that the wind is coming from. But there's a better way of doing it if you're willing to do the effort, and that's to invest in a compass and then start taking down readings of the compass direction of the wind every, say, minute. And I'll show you some diagrams here where I've done that, and you can actually see the oscillating shifts come through. You can see when it's tending to go left or when it's tending to go right, which means that when you come up to your start line type area, if you continue to do it, you'll know that if you're in a phase that is a right-handed shift, or you're in the left-handed shifts phase, which will mean that you'll go to the end that's got the favourable bias on it, so that you can then make use of the next shift. And to set up for our race, what we need to do is drag up on our sailor's head and actually have a look around, see where we're going, where are the other boats going, and what's our target, what's our wind. Let's go for a sail and have a look and pull the sails on and see what's going on. I normally use the auto sail just to set it, and then I turn the auto off, which then leaves the main sheet fairly well on for going upwind. Then we just simply focus on the steering side of things. Remember, if we get a lift, let's take it, and if we get a huge knock, then we will tack. Let's do the tack. So our last video was on the permanent shifts, and who have we got here? Congratulations to Flapjack and Faster Boy, who are currently doing really well in that permanent shift. Now we need to get on to oscillating shifts, and let's see if we can nail some of this down. So on our introductory page, we can add extra players so that more than one person can play on the same device, and all of their results is kept separately. And of course, we can put in any name that we like. We can change it, check it, and save it, and then play. Don't forget, on our settings page, we can adjust the sensitivity and also our sound, so we can turn our boat sounds off if the water is becoming too intrusive. From me, Kingsley at 2Sail, happy sailing.